All right, good morning, traders. Today is September 18th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land, everybody out there. Thank you to those that follow my content, subscribe to my content, like my content, give me the hearts on the Twitter program, our application. Thank you so much for everybody out there. Appreciate that. Special shout out to John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted, all of those that share my content so that the rest of the world can profit from it. All right, that's what I'm gonna say. Thank you so much for all of that. Appreciate that. Love that. All right, love the kind comments. Hey, good morning, Brian. All right, let's take a look at the market from yesterday. Big volatile day yesterday was the main event, FOMC. Before we get started, I think I got some announcements. First announcement is the bad news, all right? But it's not too bad, okay? In order to absorb some of the infrastructure costs here at Hit and Run Candlesticks, BYOB Right Way Options, the monthly and quarterly subscription prices will increase by $3 per cycle. So if you're a monthly, every month it's going to increase by $3. We got credit card cost, room cost, everything else, not to mention inflation. So every month you're going to get an extra $3 charge added onto your subscription. Quarterly, that's only going to be 4 times a year. So every time your subscription renews, it's going to increase by $3. Semi-annual, it's going to increase by $5, but that's only twice a year. Annual subscription will increase by $5, but that's only once a year. So there you go. So it's not every month, all right, for semi-annual and annual, okay? It's only when you renew, all right, it'll be $5 more. When you renew your annual, that'll only be once a year, will be $5, okay? So there's a subscription price adjustment notice. Just want to share that with everybody. You should be getting emails soon, so check your email folder. All right, start the next, I think we got a few more announcements today. Member e-learning, Thursday, September 18th, 2025. The topic's going to be market structure, market trends, break of structure, changing character, okay? It's going to be each of us present for 1 hour. I start at 1. I will probably be in there from noon until 3 o'clock till Rick wraps up his presentation and heads back to his room, all right? So if you're wondering where I am, that's where I'm going to be today. Another announcement, we've got Rick Sadler from Hit and Run Candlesticks is going to offer a Road to Wealth workshop, okay? It's free to attend. All you got to do is register. You can register. I will leave a link in the description, or you can take your smartphone, scan the QR code. You'll get a little pop-up. If you select that pop-up, it'll open up a browser screen. It's all safe, all right? And on the browser screen, you fill out the registration form, all right? And they'll email you the credentials to get in. So check your spam folder, all right, for those credentials the night before or the day of, all right, to make sure you got the correct credentials to get in, all right? So there's Rick's Road to Wealth workshop. That's Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025, 8:45 to 4:15. Again, Rick does a lot of preparation in the morning, does a lot of videos, does a lot of consultation, does a lot of not coaching, but guidance, all right? I would not wait till 8:45. I'd probably be in there early so I could listen to and absorb his guidance and video that he will share with the room and everybody out there on Digital Land. All right, so that's open house on for Rick. All right, let's start this off here. Okay, my SPY pivot this morning, 658.95. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. SPY and QQQ made lower lows, lower highs, closing just over bullish traps over there. Rising 17 EMAs. IWM made a new rally high. Okay. Diamond Dow, GLD, T2123 all made new all-time highs. FNGU made a lower high and a lower low, but it closed inside a bullish trap over the 17. SPY closed with a weak one candle 2-hour downtrend and a 10-minute uptrend. Silver made a lower low, a lower high, closing under a bullish trap, but over the rising 17 EMA. USO made a lower low and a lower high, closing over a bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. USO looks like it's going to put up start an uptrend. I got to tell you, it's got that look. UNG made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. US dollar index still in a downtrend. Love that. Closed near 96.89 area. SPY Max Pain. That's for the options that expired today. That's the puts and calls that expire today. SPY Max Pain 654 with a put to call ratio of about 1.4 put to each call that expires today at 4:15. Remember those those index options expire at 4:15. Security options will expire at 4 p.m. today. Okay, so not everybody has a security option that expires today. I mean, most of them don't get enough traffic or enough volume, so they tend not to have daily options on them. Okay, everything over here underneath where it says bulls, those are in 17-minute. Those are in downtrends, daily downtrends. Those are in daily uptrends. Let me rephrase that. Everything over here under the bulls are in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. If they got a little star next to them, they're building out a launch pad from which to launch higher. Okay, everything over here. All right, on the bear side, everything over here are in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. And if they got a little star next to it, they are building out a platform from which to dip lower. All right, little star building out a platform. In other words, if they got a star over here under bears, they're producing a bear flag. Over here in the bulls, they're producing a bull flag. All right, bear flags typically dip lower. How much lower? I don't know. All right, but bull flags typically produce a move higher. All right, so you can see ALHC, CRDO, VSAT, all of those. All right, and then I've got the alternate here when one of these drops off. All right, so there we go. On the 18th, for these are downtrends, these are uptrends. All right, let's go take a look at the market yesterday. Lot of whippiness. I'll just open up the 10-minute real quick. You can see all the volatility that happened at 2 o'clock. All right, lots of volatility. We expected this. All right, I'm going to put just going to say it right now, I'm going to put an anchored VWAP on this big dip candle low right here. All right, I put an anchored VWAP on that. I put another anchored VWAP on this all-time high, but we're going to make a new all-time high today. I can see already in the pre-market. So I've got two anchored VWAPs, one on this high, which might as well negate because actually I'm going to leave it on there because it might have something to do with price action today, and this one on this candle low. Okay, so this would be the FOMC rate cut anchored VWAP. That's what I'm going to call that one, the FOMC rate cut anchored VWAP. And you can see in the 10-minute chart, we've got the 3, which is this yellow line that dips below here, is up on top of the white line. So we've got a 10-minute uptrend. Really more of consolidation, all right, or bull flag. You can see price rips up and then moves over to the right. More of a bull flag. But it is up over VWAP, and the 3 is up over the 10, the 8 EMA here. So got a 10-minute uptrend. Looking for continuation of that uptrend. Just be careful. We're way up here in the nosebleeds. Just be careful. Okay. So got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. 2 hour. Again, 2 hour, we got a look like a one candle right here on the one candle downtrend right here. So we got a weak one candle downtrend, more looking more like consolidation than it is a weak one candle downtrend right there. Back to the 10. This is a 10-minute uptrend. This is looking more like, 5 candle consolidation more than it is an uptrend. All right, so there we got the 2 hour week one candle downtrend. Obviously, we're moving up this morning. All right, so this will probably revert right back into that uptrend on the 2 hour chart. On the daily candle, we've got lower high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap, 3 on top of the 8. That's a bullish trap when the yellow is on top of the white. Bullish trap over the rising, see the green dots over the rising 17. Green dots are my 17 EMA. So in the big picture, let's zoom way out. Okay, we're at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and still in an uptrend right there. Weekly, still in an uptrend. Monthly, still in an uptrend. Okay, now if you remember what I said a few days ago, get ready for, I see some big green candles in our near future. All right, so just be prepared. I really see some big green candles in our near future, starting with today. So we'll see what happens, all right? Market's very bullish, very bullish, all right? So, again, we're up at these new all-time highs, making rips higher, okay? We still have not gotten climactic yet. I am expecting that, all right? So think about how you want to trade that. So there's SPY on the daily chart. For the game plan, let's take a look at the game plan on the 15-minute chart. And what do we got here? SPY pivot, 658.95. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. SPY game plan. Green erases red entry over 660.75. You can see we're up over that already this morning. Red erases green underneath 656.65. That would be my red erases green. I like 1 day for both SPY and QQQ. I like 1 day and 8 day till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5. So in other words, 650, 655, 670, 660, 665, all right, or 590, 600, okay, if you're on QQQ. Okay, I like on the multiple of 5. I like those options. I like the Friday options because they got more open interest. I like the multiple of 5 because they happen to have more open interest on the Friday options. I like strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. I'm not opposed to trading in the money. I'm just going to tell you right now, if you trade an in the money option, you will be putting more at risk and you will pay more for that option, okay? For me, I like a little bit out of the money and let price grow in to the pair of pants that it's supposedly going to be putting on for the day, okay? I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP when the bullish uptrend, that would be the 3 and the 8, are peeling away from VWAP. In other words, they're moving up and away. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP where price, all right, and the 10-minute downtrend, that would be the 3 and the 8, are peeling away from VWAP down, and away, okay? Those are what I like, all right? My favorite trade, all right, which we may get again today, all right? My favorite trade is a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP inside a 2-hour uptrend that resides inside of a daily uptrend, that resides inside of a weekly uptrend, that resides inside of a monthly uptrend. That's my favorite trade right there, okay? I've got all of the bigger time frames supporting my little 10-minute uptrend. That's my favorite trade, okay? So you can bet I'm going to be trading that. Every 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that resides inside those conditions, I'm most definitely going to be trading that, all right? Until I see that climactic move, all right? That's what I'm looking for. So We'll take a look at QQQ. QQQ got a game plan as well. And you can see QQQ pivot, 589.30 above it. I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. Red erases green, underneath 586.30. Green erases red over 592. Again, same options, same strikes, $2 to $15 out of the money. Again, on QQQ, I like a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. I'm going to tell you again, my favorite is inside that 2-hour uptrend. That's inside the daily, inside the weekly, inside the monthly, okay? You get all that bigger time frame, all the bigger time frames supporting your price action, all right? Or my little 10-minute uptrend. All right, so that's what I like. There's QQQ. Now, if I get a 10-minute uptrend in QQQ or SPY, that happens to originate down here, long before the green erases red entry. I'm not opposed to trading it as long as it breaks my rubber band, my bullish 10-minute rubber band candle. All right. Same thing up here. If I get a 10-minute downtrend long before it reaches the red erases green entry, okay, I'm not opposed to trading it as long as it breaks that 10-minute bearish rubber band candle. All right. So if it happens to manifest up here, I'm not against trading it to the downside. Okay, I'm going to caveat that with one piece of information. Okay, on the first day, I'm not interested in going counter trend. So if we get a pullback, if we get a move up and then a pullback, I won't be trading the pullback. I'll probably be buying the dip. All right, like I did yesterday. That's all I did was buy the dip. I did not trade the downtrend. There was a 10-minute downtrend under VWAP. I was not interested in trading it. I was more interested in buying the dip. Okay? So on the first day, it's highly likely that I do not trade the downtrend. On the second day, I will participate. All right? But if I get a downtrend, probably not going to participate the first day, only because I'm highly interested in buying the dip until I see that climactic move. All right, and that goes for QQQ and SPY. I did not trade the downtrend yesterday in QQQ or SPY. I bought the dip. All right, that was more interested in buying the dip right now in this bullish uptrend that we're in right now. So there's QQQ. All right, let's check it out on the daily chart over here. Okay, kind of like SPY. Lower high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the rising 17. You can see it up here, top of quadrant 4. That's bullish, all right, and in an uptrend. Again, on the weekly, uptrend. Monthly, obvious uptrend. See all the green dots? Definitely an uptrend. Weekly, see all the green dots? Definitely an uptrend. Daily, I mean, look at all those green dots. Yeah, definitely an uptrend. 2-hour. Okay, 2-hour yesterday was, again, got that, looks like a 3-candle downtrend here, all right, that is obviously going to be changing early this morning with this gap up, all right, there's QQQ. All right, let's take a look at IWM, big news for IWM, new 13-year, not 13-year high, new rally high for IWM, all right, here is the low, April low, new rally high, ever so close to challenging the all-time high. I mean, pennies, or maybe a buck, maybe pennies, but very, very, very close to challenging the all-time high over here. Okay, new rally high for IWM yesterday. All right, let's put it on the daily chart. Okay, you can see there's the daily candle right there. Big whip up. Okay, so new 13-year high. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Remember, Diamond Dow put in new all-time high. Okay, that's bullish and in an uptrend. IWM, it's putting in almost a new all-time high. All right, bullish and in an uptrend. Everything bullish and in an uptrend. All right, gold, silver. All right, except for UNG and USO. Okay, so bullish and in an uptrend. FNGU. The FNGU didn't help us out much yesterday. All right, lower high, lower low, closing inside the bullish trap, but over the rising 17 EMA. Again, bullish and in an uptrend, FNGU. Let's take a look at, well, let's just do the silver and gold thing. All right, so here's gold. Gold got a new all-time high yesterday. Bullish and in an uptrend. Here's the quad lines. You can see at the top of quadrant 4, bullish and in an uptrend. Looking for 350 on gold or 349. Don't get greedy. Okay, silver. Yesterday, lower high, lower low, closing under a bullish trap, but over the rising 17 EMA. Okay, so there's silver, bullish. See this? Okay, top of quadrant 4, bullish and in an uptrend, silver. All right, let's take a look at UNG. All right, UNG down here. See the quadrant lines? Okay, not up here like the others down here. That's bearish. All right, and in a downtrend. But let me just say this. If they take out that red candle high right here, that peak right there, if they take that peak out, they'll negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. At that point, they will have made a higher low and a higher high, which breaks the downtrend cycle and starts a uptrend cycle. Okay, so taking out that high. If they do happen to do that, hold this area, this candle low will probably most likely be the target. See that valley between two peaks right there? That candle low will probably be the target. If they break and start that uptrend, you can see they're already moving up right now. All right, but they are not in a daily uptrend. They are challenging this candle high. We'll see if they get up there and do it. Right now, they're at 13, so they're on the lower side of this candle right now. Okay, so that's still bearish. It's in the lower third, and it's still in a downtrend. Let's take a look at USO. All right, here's USO. USO goes up, gives it up, goes up, gives it up, goes up, gives it up. USO yesterday, lower high, lower low, but closing over a bullish trap, over the 17 EMA. See this peak, this little micro peak, all right, that juts above the 17 EMA. Okay, so they made a higher high, so they're no longer in a downtrend. So now they're in an uptrend, all right. If we take out the low right here, we have a downtrend again. Okay, but right now they're in an uptrend. Okay, that's not really moving up. All right, it's just kind of floundering. And they're neutral. Okay, they're not in the upper third up here. They're not in the lower third down here. So this area down here, okay, this would be the lower third. That would be bearish. This area up here, okay, this would be the upper third. All right, this would be bullish. All right, so bullish upper third, bearish lower third. In between, just neutral. Okay, they are over the 3-year high anchored VWAP. They are over the midpoint. Okay, so USO kind of holding a little bit of a bullish stance, but not really moving anywhere. Okay, it's not found its rifle. It's not ready to fight yet. Okay, so USO getting ready. Okay, still in preparation mode. USO. We did UNG. We did GLD, right? I think we did GLD. GLD, I said new all-time high. Yeah, and SLV. That's a new 13-year high day before yesterday. Lower high, lower low, closing under. We got that. Let's take a look at our technicals. All right, T2101, losing more and more market breadth every day. Less participation. Let me just say, the lower the participation, the wilder and whippier it could get. All right, I'm just saying that because with very little participation, they can move the markets freely. All right, the ones that like to manipulate it. All right, so we're getting lower and lower on the participation range down here in T2101. All right, so we looked like we were going the other way yesterday, and then we turned around and went back. All right, so this is the reversal rectangle or box down here. I'm looking for a few days in here, spend a few days in here, and I think then we probably reverse back in the other direction. So looking forward to some climactic move coming today, tomorrow, maybe Monday. And then, of course, Tuesday would be turnaround Tuesday. We'll see what happens, all right? 15-minute chart. T2101, this is the market breadth. Okay, so no longer, see how we're losing the wind. Market breadth, think about it as wind in your sails. See how we keep losing more and more wind in our sails. Let's say you had 60 mile per hour winds. Well, we only got little 10 mile per hour winds in our sails. Okay, more wind in your sail, less wind in your sail. Okay, so on this uptrend, we're losing wind in our sails. Okay, T2102, T2122. All right, so yesterday, wild and whippy day. We ripped up into the overbought zone. Spent a little time there, had some coffee, maybe some brunch. Got tossed out into the buy zone. Came back to pick up our keys so we could get the car. And then we got tossed out again and went airborne over the buy zone, over the buyer's chop zone, landing in the seller's chop zone. And then the bulls hooked us and kicked us out of there. So now we wound up closing the day inside the buyer's chop zone. Nothing but volatility here. See this? Rip up, come back, pick up the keys. Now we're going for a flight, and then we take an airborne flight and back into the buy zone, T2122. Nice thing is, made a higher high. See, there's the high. We made a higher high. Okay, right there. Equal high to this. Okay, and we made a higher low. Okay, so I like that. If I'm a bull, I like that. All right. I did not want to spend all day in the overbought zone. I would have liked to spend all day in the buy zone. I'll bet we'll be open up in the buy zone or in the overbought zone this morning. Okay, T2123. Again, new all-time high on the 15-minute chart. In an uptrend now, up over the rising 200 SMA, new all-time high on T2123. I'm expecting IWM to put in a new all-time high, but that was pretty good challenge of the highs yesterday. I think they got one more move left in them, IWM, and I think they ink out a new all-time high before ending our uptrend. All right, so here's T2123. That's the cumulative new 4-week, new high, new low ratio. Okay, so new all-time high for T2123. 15-minute chart bullish and in an uptrend. 3-bar chart, let's check that out. Again, you can see here's the quad lines. Okay, there's our valley low for April, right? Okay, you can see that was the last all-time high right here. Okay, this is the current new all-time high made yesterday, right there. Okay, you can see, so that's bullish up over the rising 200 SMA. That's 200, and in an uptrend. See all the green dots? Nice uptrend. Okay, so T2123, FNGU, not a big help yesterday. 15-minute chart of FNGU. Selling off from the beginning of the day to the end of the day almost. Well, until the volatility 2 p.m. and then they started to buy everything back up that they sold off. So the same guys that were selling this off because well, FNGU is not a big stock. I mean, it's only $29, but the Googles, the Microsoft, the Amazons, okay, all the big boys. All right, everyone that was selling the big boys off bought them all right back up. Okay, so there's 15-minute chart. Again, a spike into the 200, rising 200 SMA right there. Okay, you can see price action this morning, gapping up and consolidating over prior consolidation. That's a bullish outlook. I am bullish, looking for that 10-minute uptrend this morning. Okay, that's what I'll be looking for with this bullish stance. Up over the rising 200 SMA. Just going to say in the next 2 days, 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Monday, we could get some big moves, all right? So just when you think it's the high, don't start shorting it, all right? If the uptrend is still intact, respect the uptrend, the 10-minute 15-minute uptrend, okay? If I'm not talking about FNGU, I'm talking about FNGU, SPY, and QQQ, IWM, and Diamond Dow. Okay, talking about all of them, all of the Fab Five. Okay, if you get that 10-minute uptrend ripping and it looks like, oh, this is too far, it went $7. Okay, I'm just telling you, we're in that area where it could move $20, $30. Okay, don't think that it's too high. It can rip and keep going. Look how much time is left in the day. All right, if you're hitting an $8 pop and it's 11 o'clock in the morning, okay, they're not done yet. All right, they're just getting started. They still got another 4 or 5 hours to go. Okay, so be careful out there. Don't try to pick the top. Respect the trend. Find that red candle if it's an uptrend, and jump in when you see that green erases red. Okay, sometimes you got to scoot down to the smaller time frames. Look at the economic package. All right, and you can see the dollar in a downtrend. Bear flag. All right, challenging the annual low. Okay, the 12-month low right here. Nice challenge yesterday. I'm not sure if we got lower. We did. We made a lower low. Okay, on as far as 12-month lows go, we made a lower low yesterday. We closed. My eyes aren't that good, so I gotta kind of like. So we closed right here, right at 96.95, 96.89 area, 96.90 right there yesterday. Dollar still weak, and in a downtrend, and in a bear flag. Okay, the investor in us loves the weak dollar. The consumer in us hates it because it just means everything that we buy is going to cost more. All right, so we don't like a weak dollar. We like a strong dollar. All right, so there's the U.S. dollar in a downtrend, in a bear flag. SPY Max Pain for today, 654. I don't think we're going to visit 654 today. I got a sneaky suspicion we're not going to visit. Put to call ratio, 1.4 puts to each call that expires, puts and calls that expire today for the options that expired today. Again, the main event was yesterday at 2 p.m. FOMC. They did a quarter point rate cut and then a presser at 2:30. I guess the market liked what they heard because they're ripping today, this morning. Okay, I don't know if you guys checked out Intel. Intel popped up to 32. It's up at $32 right now. I'm just gonna say I think Intel can get to 40. All right. So if there's a dip, I might be buying the dip. All right. Today, jobless claims at 8:30. Thank you, Alan. Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, 8:30 as well. Leading indicators at 10. Gas report at 10:30. Thank you, Alan. Wow, that came in just as I said it. All right, and on Friday, we got a rig count at 1 o'clock. And don't forget, this Friday is quadruple witching. All right, traders, that's it. All right, I'll see you guys in about 45 minutes. And we'll open up the markets and record it. If you're looking for my recordings, I'm recording every single day. They are long recordings, okay? There's moments of silence, all right? But you can find the recordings right here. And you just hit the hamburger next to the people, all right? And then you hit the archives. Go to recording, and you'll get a new pop-up window, all right? A new tab will populate right up here. Watch. See it populate? And here's all my recordings. Okay? Every single day. Okay? And it shows everything. All right? If you look on my charts, this is my chart. All right? I share with you and traders. Okay? This is executed trades right here. That's executed trades. Why does this look wrong? There we go. So there's executed trades. All right. And this would be open positions right here. Okay. Now if it's got a little green dot over here, you can see it's in a 5-minute uptrend. I'm probably going to be trading it if it's got a 5-minute uptrend that's inside of a 30-minute uptrend. So that Intel's going to be looking good to trade this morning. Ether going to be looking good to trade this morning. See how it's got a 30-minute uptrend and a 5-minute uptrend. Okay, QQQ 615 calls looking good to trade this morning. Okay, so I got this to tell me what to trade. This tells me where the action is, right there. 5-minute uptrend over the 17 EMA. Okay, 30-minute uptrend over the 17 EMA. Hourly uptrend over the 17 EMA. Okay, it's a nice little feature to have. Tells you what to trade. All right, what to concentrate on, where the action is, and I like that. All right, so again, this might open positions, executed trades, right here, and then here's the map right here. And usually my option is down here in the bottom. All right. I'll see everybody in 45 minutes. Let me get this stuff shared out there with the digital land, and so they can enjoy it as well. All right. Thank you, everybody. Jim says, with all you had going this morning to get ready, did you? Yes. I did not see the news, Jim, but I did see the pop. The platform, this is TC2000. All right, it's just a mapping program, charting program. All right, this is TC2000. Right here. TC2000, right up there. All right, I'll see you guys in like 45 minutes.